What's crack-a-lackin' gamers? I did a community post asking you guys if you wanted to see a compilation of shorts, and the overwhelming majority of you guys said that you did, so I decided that I'm going to be making a best of bad ideas for every month. It's going to be a mix of my personal favorite bad ideas, and I'll try my best to do a good mix of the ones that you probably have seen and the ones that you probably haven't. And let me know in the comments if you want to see more compilations of this style. If there's an interest for it, I'm thinking about doing compilations for the specific genres, like the bad movies, the bad games, the bad businesses, just like a compilation of just those, the combo ideas, stuff like that. If you want to see that style compilation, let me know in the comments. I'll probably do a community post about it later. But with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoy the best bad ideas of August.
Bad movie idea. So it's your typical Seth Rogen adult comedy movie about a bunch of stoners partying or whatever. And it starts off normal. You have your college friends. Jonah Hill is there. And they go to a party. Everything plays out normal until the cops show up and our main cast of characters has to run into the woods, where they meet Bigfoot. And rightfully so, everyone starts freaking out. They're like, this is Bigfoot. I didn't think he was real. He's right here. But everything settles down when they offer Squatch some of that Zaza. And as it turns out, he had been growing weed in the forest for decades. This is the plot. That's why he's so elusive, because he's literally just a stoner. So the main cast gets on Bigfoot's good side and he invites them to like a cryptid rager. Mothman's busting it down. You got some like skinwalkers going crazy. When the movie like dies down for a little bit, you get those like heart-to-heart moments. Mothman's just spilling his guts to you. Bigfoot's talking about how he always wanted to be a photographer, but his hands are too shaky. Then call it like Stoner Sasquatch and you're good to go. Bad business idea. So it's a shipping company, but it's like one of those themed restaurants where the waitstaff is just mean to you and roasts you the whole time. So like they just won't give you updates on your package. If you ask where it is, they'll be like, I have no idea. They'll like literally just lose it as a bit. So you'll be expecting a package to arrive in Miami and like it'll just stay in Columbus, Ohio for like 4 weeks. And then like you'll check the shipping again and it'll be in Miami and then it'll be back in Columbus for another day and then finally like they'll deliver it to you. And when they finally do deliver it to you, they'll smash it, they'll bend it, they'll break it, they'll throw it through a window. They might even try to hide it somewhere. It will be the least convenient form of shipping ever. If you order anything made of glass, expect it to just be shattered by the time you finally get it. Then you could call it something goofy like FedEx. Combo idea. Solitaire and Halo. So it's an FPS, but your loadout is based on a game of solitaire that you have to play in the bottom right corner of your screen. And by making moves in solitaire, you can get different guns and abilities. Like moving a king to a blank space will give you a jetpack. Putting an ace in its spot will restock your grenades. And beating the game would give you the game's equivalent to like a rocket launcher or an energy sword or something. Like an instant kill weapon. So the single player would be this really cool, really innovative, really creative way to play a game. But the multiplayer would probably just be people camping to try and finish a game of solitaire so they can just one-hit everybody on the map. Bad movie idea. It's a superhero team movie, except the catch is that all the superheroes are just barely superheroes. Like you got a guy that's abnormally strong or abnormally fast, a guy that can fly but like at walking pace 4 feet above the ground, a guy that can teleport but only to the same Arby's in Columbus, Ohio. And the whole movie, it's like they're trying to be like a superhero team and stop crimes, but like they're mostly just a hindrance to the police. So they end up starting like a band or a podcast or something, because they're basically just normal guys, but maybe one can go like invisible for 10 seconds. Combo idea. Smash Bros and Valorant. So the allure of Smash Bros and multiverses is you have this huge cast of recognizable characters beating the crap out of each other. Like you can have Mario versus Sonic versus Mega Man versus the entire cast of Fire Emblem for some reason. But what if Smash Bros was a hero-based shooter like Overwatch or Valorant? Mario would have like the Super Nintendo blaster as his gun. Link would have a melee and shield like Brigitte from Overwatch. Minecraft Steve would have the bow and crossbow, maybe some potions. And you could bring in characters from different FPS games and have them play like they do in those games. Just imagine like Search and Destroy with like Captain Price from COD, Doom Guy, Kirby, and I don't know, Duck Hunt Dog versus Samus, Jonesy Fortnite, Pikachu, and CJ from San Andreas. The battle would be legendary. Nintendo, step your game up. Bad house idea? If I ever won the lottery or something, I would design the goofiest house imaginable. I'm talking this thing would be in the middle of nowhere. From an aerial view, it'll look like Kirby or Big Chungus or something stupid like that. And the inside will be designed like a saw trap. Hallways that don't go anywhere. Trap doors. Secret tunnel. 40 bathrooms of varying size. Secret tunnel. and impractical length between the toilet and sink. There will be rooms that you could only enter at like 5:43 p.m. on a Wednesday. There'd be a huge pool in the middle in like a circular room, and all the bedrooms would be lined up on the wall above it with diving boards on the balcony. And I'll just let the whole thing go into disrepair after like 10 years and then just throw the address on Reddit for people to investigate. And when they do, that's when they enter the game. Bad business idea. So it's a budget airline company where every single flight is cheaper than like every other airline, and they'll go for super long distances. But the catch is they fly one plane like from one side of the world to the other. Whenever they fly over your stop, you just have to jump out. Like you have to skydive. You start at New York, you're going to Florida, and like you want to go to like South Carolina. You literally have to just jump out halfway through. And like the flight attendants won't really care because they're not being paid much. So when it's your time to go, they just like push you out and say aim for a field or something. And you could probably call it Spirit Airlines or something like that. That joke's too overused. Tell me what you think it should be in the comments. Bad game idea. So it's an RPG with like thousands of hours of storytelling and world building. There's a huge super in-depth party where everybody is super interesting. There's not a single annoying character at all, but halfway through the game, your main player character dies and the game just continues without you. Like you're basically watching a movie for the next hour. And then your party eventually goes to like revive your character, but then he reincarnates into another world. And in this other world, it's an FPS now. And if you die in the FPS, you get sent to a platformer. You die in the platformer, you get sent to Tetris. You literally just keep repeating different genres that aren't the game that you came from until you can fully complete like an hour-long game without dying. And once you 100% one of those games, then you can finally go back and you're revived into the world and like everything's good. But nobody ever like mentions what just happened. Like nobody mentions the genre shift. It's never brought up again, and there's like another 100+ hours of content. But this is definitely somehow already a niche indie game with like thousands of loyal fans. Bad superpower idea. You get the ability to teleport, but only once, and you can't choose where. You are sent to a completely random place on the earth on land because the chances of water are very high, but it's like a one-time use. It is a panic teleport. Now there are some uses for this. You could potentially teleport out of harm's way if you're being held at gunpoint. You could escape prison. You could have just a god tier game of hide and seek, but you could very easily end up in Antarctica, the Russian or Canadian wilderness, or a country with some less than friendly policy about immigration, or you could teleport right back into the same kind of situation you were trying to escape. But I do know one type of person that this would be really good for, and it's the people who are like insane at GeoGuessr. Bad show idea. So you got a lawyer with a comically lawyer sounding name. We'll call him like Evan Legal or something like that. And he's like a really respectable guy, loved by the community. Everyone loves this guy. But little does anybody know that all of his clients are guilty. Now, before you comment, this is just Better Call Saul, there's a twist. Evan is actually the leader of the mafia, and he has dirt on every single one of the judges. So every time he needs a fall guy for one of his organization's crimes, they literally just pick someone at random and just go, boom, guilty, even though they literally had nothing to do with the case at all. So another lawyer picks up on what's actually going on and decides to fight an uphill battle against Evan to prove his brother's innocence, who is being framed for murder. But the entire show is told from the perspective of Evan. So like the actual good guy is the antagonist of the series. And the name, Illegal. Bad movie idea. So it's the first Avengers movie, but it's from the perspective of the guy that owns the car that Hulk smashed. Like it starts off, he's just going to work. Like you learn more and more about him. All the Marvel stuff you see, but it's not really like the forefront. Then boom, New York is under attack and the movie just turns into like a disaster film. Like this guy is trying to like survive as like buildings get attacked, aliens are flying everywhere. And like there's just this pivotal moment. He's like running, he's going up the stairs, there's a crowd of people. He looks out the window, he sees his car, he's like, this is my escape, this is my chance to get out of the city. And then he just sees Hawk go to town on it. There's no enemies, he's just going Hawk mode on that thing, and this guy's just devastated. Cuts to after the attack, he's just like filing for insurance, and like he just doesn't get a payout because like everybody else had their stuff destroyed. I just think that would be really funny. I mean, they announced like 40 more Marvel movies, so like what's one more?